Hello everybody, today we're back in the shop. It's very early in the morning where nobody's going to come in and disturb me. And we're going to get set up and mill that L head today. First thing I do when milling something that's critical like that is I tram the head in. And that is a tool called a spindle square. I can get you in there, and you can see our head is perfectly trammed in there. So we know everything is square to the table and we can make a cut and the cutter will cut perfectly. That's the first step, making sure the head is right, the head of the machine that is. And I'll pull that out, I'll get our cutter in there, and I will begin, I'll pull the vise off there and I'll begin setting up the L head, and I'll try and take you through the steps on how to set one of those up, and then we'll finally make some cuts. We do have quite a bit of a hollow in the center of that head. It's about 10 thousandths hollowed out in the center, and I've got a straight edge on it, and I'll take you over there and show you that later. But for right now, let's get busy, get the mill cleaned up, and get that head set up. Okay, everybody, there's the head just laying flat on the table, and I think if I get you in close enough, that's a precision straight edge there. You see we're tight on the end, and then watch that guy open up. It's the worst spot right there. That's about 9 thousandths down, and it's going to tighten up again. This is very standard for L heads when you take them off the engine. And you just lay them on a table or something like that. It's very common that the center is hollowed out. Don't let that bother you. We are going to jig it up, and we're not going to twist or distort the head any. We're going to plane it just like this, make it nice and flat, and then when the block is nice and flat, they'll mate perfectly. So don't try and bring the center up or bring the ends down, because when you get done milling it and you let the pressure off, it's going to go back to where it is. So, as I set these up, I'm going to set it up on some jacks. As I set these up, be very careful not to tweak or twist the head around. So, I'm going to get those set up now, and I'll take you along and show you what happens. Okay guys, I got the head all jigged up here. I've got the head bolted down through the spark plug holes. I've got 1/2 inch 13 studs going down to the table, and they fit nice and snug inside the spark plug hole. And I have 8 jacks underneath this. Now the head is, like I said, has a belly in there. So I took my depth mic, and I know my cutter is true. And then I just, on the edges, on the 4 corners here, I got it. Yeah, I got everything reading the same. We do have a 9 to 11 thousandths belly in that, but by moving back and forth and working off the cutter with the depth mic, I was able to get it very, very close, within 1 thousandths. The head's a little warped, like I said, but no big deal. We'll get that out. And I have 4 jacks in the back because that's where I have the head bolted down. So I want to make sure that that's nice and secure, and I don't put a more of a belly in the head. And then I have 4 in other places. You can see all the jacks under there. They're snug. The head was bolted down, and I tightened the nuts on the jacks. It's a good, secure, rigid setup. We're only going to take very light cuts on this. I'll get the camera set up in a good place where the chips aren't going to bother it. And we are lightly going to take this head down to a true surface. And I'll show you what that looks like. We're just about ready to start cutting. I'm going to grab my safety glasses, and I'll be right back with you. Okay everybody, that is a extremely light cut. I'm going to run that over the whole entire head just to see where the highs and lows are. It's just going to kind of tick along there, as you can hear. We'll see where it's cutting. We'll see how it hits the center, if it does at all, and just about a 1.5 thousandths cut. And I have it on very slow speed, so I'm not going to bore you with that. But this is going to be the very first cut, and I'll bring it back and show you what the head looks like after the first cut. We'll see where we need to take more, and we'll see how bad the head really is. So, just getting started, and I'll take you through the whole way. So hang in there, and I'll be back with you after we make this pass. Okay, everybody, there's our first cut. And you can see we took some material out of here, but we did reach all the way across to this side. We just made it to here. So we know the head was set up correctly. And same thing on this side. Took a little bit heavier cut here. Nothing through the center. And I don't know if you can see it, but we just took a whisker of material off right on that corner. So we know our head is sitting correctly this way, and it just has a little warp in it. And don't be worried if you're milling your head and you get a little warp in it. This is all going to come out because we have like I say, we have a big belly in here. We know the we know the head is warped. Let me show you what we get right across here. I think you can see that on that very little bit where we picked up from edge to edge. You can see side to side is perfect. It's a Starrett straight edge that I use for engine work. Very accurate. And you can see by taking your time and setting up the head correctly, you start off right. And just in that one pass, that area there is perfect. I mean, it only goes for an inch or so, but we're on the right track. And I'm only going to take very, very light cuts here. So there may be, oh, I don't know, 7 or 8 or 10 cuts to get this head done. But I'm not in a hurry. I don't want to rush it. I don't want to bite too much material off at once. And I'm always going to cut from my right to the left. And it's just going to be one cut after another. Like I say, probably a thousandths, maybe 2 thousandths on a rough cut, but that's about it. My speed for this 8-inch cutter is, let me see where I'm at. I'm at 215. Number 1, number 2, number 1. That gives me 215 spindle speed. And it seems to be cutting very nice. The quality of the cut is very good. So, little by little, we'll keep whittling this head away. And hang in there with me. I know it's like watching paint dry, but I'll take you with me after each cut and show you how much more surface we get nice and flat. So we picked up a little bit of a surface there, and a little bit right here. So we're coming across, we just got to get that hollow out of there. And on the back, we didn't get very far there or on that side, but on the next cut we should get some of that. So I will be right back with you and show you what the second cut looks like. Okay, that's a second pass. We are 2 thousandths deep into this head. You can see this area is coming along nice. We've extended all the way there. We've got just a nice line all the way down the head on this front side here. We're all the way across on this end, and we just tickled a line with the cutter. Did no more than basically cut off some dirt. But we did get a consistent line, very hard to see, all the way down this side. The majority of the bow is in the center here. So that's going to take a while, but for 2000s we are picking up fast, and won't be long before we have a nice surface completely across the head. Like I say, it takes some time, but I'm very happy with where we are in 2000s depth of cut. You can see we're right at 2000s. So, like I say, I'm just going to creep up on it a little bit at a time. Hang in there, and like I say, I will show you what it looks like after every pass. It takes about 15 minutes to get across there. I have it set real slow, and that finish is absolutely perfect. So, I'm not going to adjust anything. Just keep going 1000s at a time, and we'll get there. Hang in there with me, and I will show you what happens along the way. Okay, we're on our 4,000th deep cut, and we're starting to pick up real good. Just starting to cut here and down here, and this is growing pretty fast, coming out this way. And we're just about getting to the end here. So it's going to take a few more thousandths, but I will show you how it comes with each thousandth of an inch. So we're at 4 right now. Okay, here we are coming through the head. It's 6 thousandths depth of cut. It's the 6th pass at 1,000ths per pass. And we're cleaning up completely across. Just skimming the very outside edge, and we're closing in on the combustion chambers about halfway. So we know we had a sag in the head, so we know we're going to have to take at least enough out to get the sag out. So we may be creeping up on 9 or 10 thousandths, but we'll see how it goes. We'll just keep making 1,000ths cuts. Like I say, this is our 6th pass, so we're 6 thousandths deep on this head right now. Not too bad. And you can see it cutting right there. We're just moving along very slowly. Nice rigid setup. And like I say, don't rush it. I see a lot of guys, they take a heavy cut the first couple passes, and they try and clean it up with a light cut. I like light cuts, slow speed, and if it takes you an extra 15-20 minutes, what's a big deal? So just be gentle with it and take light cuts, and you can see the quality of cut that's coming out with that. So hang in there, and I'll show you how it progresses. Okay guys, there's a 1/4 inch end mill standing on end, just so you can see the nice rigid setup and what a light cut is going to do for you. You don't want any chatter, you don't want anything like that. And the 1/4 inch end mill standing on end is a good indication that we're not rattling anything around, we're not taking too big a bite. Don't horse your way through the cast iron. And like I say, I've seen a lot of guys really horse their way through and then try and finish up with some light cuts. Just keep light cuts, no movement in your part, make sure it's rigid, make sure you're feeding right. And by balancing that end mill there, you can see we got a good setup, and the cuts are coming out very nice. And we'll just keep moving on until we get a nice flat surface. Then we'll put the straight edge on it and show you what it looks like when it's done. Creeping up on 9 thousandths, cleaning up nice. A little bit more to go. Okay guys, we made the final pass on the head. Got my straight edge on here. I hope you can see this. It is sitting perfectly. You can't get a 1,000th feeler gauge under there anywhere. And everywhere I put it, It's just perfect on the head. So I'm very happy with the cuts. There's one area that when I get the head over to the bench I'll show you. It's not going to affect anything, but I just didn't want to keep, you know, gnawing out material if I didn't have to. So it's perfectly flat. And let's see where we came in at. Hang in there with me. Let's go over to our dial here. Hang in there. Okay. Okay, about 11. Just right at 11 thousandths it took to clean that head up, and we knew that because we measured the dip in the center, and there's no way to get around getting that dip out of the center if you don't actually take the material out. Not bad at all. Hope you can see the finish, the nice finish we got. I'm going to take it over to the bench and unclamp it, and I'll show you what we got. Okay, now that the head's actually off there, you could see what I had for the setup. The 4 main hold downs and the 8 jacks. Had to span the joint here with just a parallel, but that gave us a real rigid setup. Very happy the way it worked out. And like I say, it takes some time to get the head where you want it, and then you have to make sure you bring these back jacks up enough so that when you bolt that down you don't put a bow in the head. Very easy to move that cast iron with a thick stud like that and a nut. Very easy to bow the head. So be very careful if you're setting up a head like this, and absolutely take your time, get it right. And I will bring this head over to the bench and meet you there in just a minute. Okay, the straight edge is the same color as the finished head, but hope you can pick up how perfectly flat it is. And that's the key. When you take it off the machine, it should be dead flat, and that means you did not put a warp or anything into it with the bolts. And right out to the very edge. I know it's tough to see, but when you go around there with a feeler gauge, you can't even get a 1/1000th in there. So corner to corner is the same way. So that head is perfectly flat and will seal very nice onto a freshly decked block. Now you can see, I think, right here we had just some light pitting. 99% of it is out. I didn't want to take another cut. You almost can't pick it up with the camera. It's very hard to see. And just a tiny bit right there. Just a little discoloration. And no worries about anything sealing. These are just, could have taken another 1 or 2 thousandths, but I felt at 11 we were there. And I think you can see the quality of the finish in the camera. With the light you can actually see it reflecting onto the straight edge. So this is going to get just a quick solvent wash, and then we'll sit this in a bag with some oil, and this will be on the shelf if anybody needs a L head replacement head. Okay, that's all I got for you today. I am going to take that F head sitting over there and jig that one up next, and we'll be resurfacing that one next. And I've got another one that's out of the tank, and I'm just washing it off now. So we'll set up the F heads and do both of them at once. So that won't be today, but in another video we'll get those done. And hope you enjoyed the video today on what it takes to resurface a Willys L head engine cylinder head. So it came out very nice. I'm real happy with it, and we'll move on to the F heads next. So thanks for watching today, and I will catch up with you on the next video.